Hey, today we're talking about the law of sines and the law of cosines. So this is book section 9-7. I know it's a bit different than what we usually show up here, but law of cosines and law of sines, you use those when you're dealing with oblique triangles, or another way of saying is your non-right triangles. Okay? So this is the last lesson. You'll notice we have a test later this week. In chapter 9, we move in onto the topics then, the additional trig topics, which are just a blast. Okay? This page right here, this is your note page. Okay? So, law of cosines. The law of cosines says if you have the side x squared, x squared equals y squared plus z squared minus 2yz cosine x degrees. Now, you need to remember these. There are 6 different formulas you need to remember from law of sines and law of cosines. If you can figure out the patterns, then the formulas are easy. Okay? So, x represents a side, y represents a side, z represents a side, and then remember the big letter x, or anytime you see a degree, that represents an angle. All right, so we use the law of cosines to solve the rest of a triangle. Anytime we can measure either all 3 sides, part A, or part B here says 2 sides and an included angle. So if you're given all 3 sides and we want to solve this triangle, that means find all the angles, we can use the law of cosines to do that. Okay? And remember, it's not a right triangle, so you got to adjust your thinking and go, well, can't I just use inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent? You can't, because this isn't a right triangle any longer. Okay? And then, same thing here. If you're given a side and the included angle, that means the angle in between the 2 sides. So side, angle, side, you could use the law of cosines as well. Okay? You'll know really quick if you can't use the law of cosines, because if you try to, you'll get to a point where you have more variables than you want. You'll have 2 variables left after you plug everything in. You're like, well, I can't do that. You have to have a single variable left. So what I want you to do right now, we're not going to derive the formula. We may do that at the end of the trig topics, actually come up or go with how we come up with that formula. Okay? But for now, we're going to memorize it. I want you to apply it. So keep in mind that side opposite angle x is side x. The side opposite angle y is side y. And the side opposite angle z is side z. Using that information, I want you to substitute everything you can into there. Give yourself plenty of room to work. There are a lot of steps. So we'll do letter A together. Go ahead and get everything substituted in. Okay, how many have it substituted in correctly? Any questions on how we got that? Okay, so from there it's just cranking out the math. All right, I want you to get everything simplified as far as you can. Okay, and I'm going to gradually just reveal different parts here. Show your work. Otherwise, as you go through, it's going to be very difficult when you're trying to find your mistakes.
Yeah.
Hey, let's see. How many of you made it that far? Yeah? To check step by step, okay? How about there?
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, wait, hang on.
Paige, or Jade, I just want you to know, back like 2 years ago when at the end of the school year, I had to teach law of, maybe it was 3 years ago. I can't remember when it was, but a couple of years ago I had to teach this, and I was on crutches, and I couldn't stand at the board, so prior to class I wrote it all out, and I just sat there and moved everything. It was like really lame and boring way to teach. It was so boring. Sorry. But now I get to do it this way because I want to. So, all right. How many made it that far? Just so that any questions there?
How?
Just so we're clear, this is where the first mistake generally is made, this next step. So how many know what to do from here? Tell your neighbor what you think you should do. Okay, so, hey, the common mistake, everyone's attention here, the common mistake is trying to combine these two. Remember, this is a multiplication sign in between. You can't combine. Okay, so there's an actual multiplication sign right there. Right? You've got to multiply before you subtract. Okay? So we're going to move this 9125 over to this side. We get 5275. And now we're here. What's the next step?
Divide by cosine of x.
What?
Divide by cosine of x.
Divide by cosine of x. Nope. Good. But divide by negative 9100. Okay? So when we divide by negative... Oh, giving away the rest of the problem. Don't want to do that.
Whoopsie.
I know. This is the problem with doing it this way. Okay? Divide by negative 9100. Now we get this. If I want to find out what x is, what do I do? Yeah, inverse cosine. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys get caught up. I want you to find out what x is there. Okay, let's see if we got it correct here. What's the answer?
125.4 degrees.
Yep.
Oh, beyond.
Yay.
So we take the inverse cosine, get 125.4 degrees. How many got that? Cool. Have we solved the triangle yet?
Nope.
No, we haven't. Okay? So, what we have is we have now found x. X degrees. So, looking at our picture here, what was this again?
What?
Oh, sorry, what's this?
X.
125.4.
125.4. So we still have to find y. Okay? Everyone's back here. So notice we were able to find x because we knew side x, y, and z, and the rest of this equation had x, y, and z in it. Okay? The only unknown was angle x. Well, if I want to find angle y now or angle z, I'm going to have to use the same formula. It's just I'm going to replace
X was z.
I'm going to replace x with z, but that means other parts here change as well.
Z
So
has to be x.
you have x squared equals y squared plus z squared minus 2yz cos x. Brooks, what are you doing? Hey,
Julia,
don't be a distraction in here. Okay. Thank you. Hey, if we want to find y, it's going to have to end with cosine y. But that means
y is down.
I'm going to start with
Y squared equals
y squared.
x squared plus z squared minus 2x z
Good.
cosine y.
All right. You notice when I was trying to find angle x, x didn't appear anywhere else other than at the beginning. When I'm trying to find an angle y, y is not going to appear anywhere else other than the beginning. So I want you now to write down what the formula is going to be for finding, say, angle z. Don't just sit there. Come on, man. Put some effort in. Okay, Riley, what'd you get?
I got 2yx.
Did you say y squared here? Okay, my bad. Okay, very good. How many think they can remember those three formulas? Really, it's only remembering one, right?
Yeah.
Remember one, you can get them all. Okay, so since we're all functioning, so that we all function as the same group right now, I want everyone to find angle y.
Okay.
Use your formula to find angle y.
7 squared equals.
Okay, I'm going to gradually reveal parts of the answer here. Let's make sure that you're on the same steps there. Okay, how many are good up to there? Zoom in a bit for you. Any questions up to there? Okay. Careful of the next step. It's where all the usually mistakes are made. Make sure we move that 18,625, subtract it from both sides to get negative 13,725. You good?
Yeah.
What's the angle measure?
28.4 degrees.
28.4.
That's what I got.
So divide by 15,600.
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm going to have to zoom out just a bit here. Then from there, good. Inverse cosines, 28.4. Any questions there? All right, so just so that kind of keep everything up there for everyone. That's not too helpful at all. So angle Y now is 28.4 degrees. How do we find angle Z? Tell your neighbor.
Subtract 153.8 from 180.
Okay, time's up. How do we find Z? Yeah.
You take
Go
and
on.
add the two angles that we know and subtract them from 180.
Good. Yeah, and they're rounded, right? So it's an approximation, but they're all going to be approximations anyway. So everyone finds Z. Okay, since we're rounding. Okay. I get 26.2. There it is right there.
That's what I got this week.
Subtract from 180, 26.2 degrees. Good? Okay. All right. So that's one problem there, completing a triangle. It is sweet, using the law of cosines. Okay, when else can we use the law of cosines?
Ooh,
Brooks.
when we have SAS.
Yeah, when we have SAS, which we have a lot of. Okay, so using SAS here, two sides and an included angle. I want you to do your best right now. Try to find side. Try to start out by finding side or angle.
Oh, wait.
Actually, let's. Brooks, you all right?
Yeah. I had something in my chest.
Try to start out by finding side X, please. Here we go. Okay.
Do it.
Hey, just so we're not terribly confused here, I heard a lot of discussion about it, but you're using the same equation. It's just, as I heard Jada say up here, you're trying to find a way to use an equation where you'll have just a single variable left. So if we use this equation right here, the x squared equals y squared plus z squared minus 2yz cos x, we're trying to find x, so that seems like the logical one to use. And then if we start plugging things in, notice once I plug in y, I get for 62, z is 85, I get 62 and 85, and the angle x is 105. So when I plug in everything, I'm just left with that variable x. And how many of you came up with trying that? Okay, I saw that some of you were talking about it. So that's our first step. So from there, go ahead and crank out your answer. Get as far as you can on it. Okay, check it step by step.
Look at you guys.
There we got it.
Bet you it's got like
Okay,
chicken.
I know a lot of you are skipping steps here. It's fine, just don't make mistakes. You start skipping steps and you're making mistakes, and you probably shouldn't skip steps.
Hey, there you go.
Take the square root of both sides, we get 117.5. How many got it? How many made a mistake? How many know where they made their mistake? Okay. Any questions from spot to spot? Julia.
So going from the x squared 11,069.
Right here?
minus- Yeah, to the next one.
Yep.
What do you do with everything?
Okay, good question. So at that step right there, I'm taking the cosine of 105 and multiplying it by 10,540,
Oh, combining them.
and then subtracting it from 11,069. How many made their mistake right there? Okay, that would be a common place. You subtract first and then take that. So you should actually take cosine 105 times 10,540 and subtract it from 11,069. If you actually plug it into your calculator just like that, you should get that. Okay? But order operations, multiply before subtraction. Any other questions on it? Okay, how many are ready to move on? Okay. Hey, we now have side X. What was it again?
117.5.
Okay, we now need to find angle Y and angle Z. Now you guys should be old experts at this. Just so we're all working on the same one, let's find Z this time.
Oh no.
Okay? I want you to find angle Z. Here we go.
My problems.
Here, let's see if you've made it that far.
Okay.
Slide that over where we can actually have things in focus. In the world of focus.
Whoa.
Yes. Okay. I think this is where some of you made your mistake last time. Remember?
Again.
Brooks trying to do it in his head here.
Oh yeah. No, I'm trying to do it on my GPS. This is my GPS. Did you guys not remember that?
No.
From math camp? Remember I lived in the origin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got 44.4 degrees.
No! That's what I got.
Is it right? I hope so.
No, not there yet.
Oh,
Wait, for a degree? Could you just have added them? The x?
Yeah, there's no point.
Oh, never mind. We found the length.
sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the end of the movie for you. No quitting. So find angle Y now. You get 30 seconds.
30.6.
I got it. 3,
For those of you that need the hint,
8. What? Oh yeah.
that now is 44.4. Okay, what's Y then? 30.6
6.
degrees. Good. Got to subtract 44.4 and 105 from 180. Right. Hey, could we use the other formula?
We could.
We could. It would take a little longer. Just waste quicker. Okay, how many love the law of cosines?
Woo! Almost as much as I love the law of sines.
Dude, we got a hater back. All right. Well,